So thanks again, everybody, for joining us to our Mysteries of the Library Revealed Library Tour webinar. We're going to give you a tour, a virtual tour of the Walden Library. Before we get into that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about our Mysteries of the Library Revealed webinar series. This is a series that the Walden Library does. We have one every month about a library topic. It is the third the third Monday of every month at 8:30 p.m. unless there's a holiday. And they're 30 minutes long, and we cover basic library resources and skills for the Walden Library. We have two scheduled, one for June on course readings, and that's where you'll find all the required library readings in your courses, and one in July about finding subject-specific resources. So if you're in the nursing program or if you're in education, where you can go to find the resources that we have curated for you to succeed in your programs in those areas. So our objectives tonight is to help you find what you're looking for. Even though we are completely online, the library is a big place and there's lots of links and pages to explore. And we want you to do that. We encourage you to come out and explore, but we know also that you're not coming here every day just to explore. You're looking for something and you want to find it. And we don't want you wasting time trying to find something. And most of all, we don't want you to get frustrated. We know from reference questions that many students are coming to the library to find specific things. So we've took those things and we're going to show you where to find them, where to find the course readings for your required course readings for your courses, where to find those subject-specific materials, where to find journals or dissertations. And then we're also going to talk about finding information, resources in the library to teach you library skills, to show you how to use our resources. And then we have a little shortcut, show you a way to navigate throughout the library a little faster. And finally, we're going to talk about library resources for you to get help. If you have a question, we're going to show you where to go to get answers to your questions fast and efficiently. And so with that being said, I am now going to change presenter here to Lisa.
Thank you, Kim. Can you let me know when you can see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, there it is. Perfect.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So the first thing that I want to talk about tonight is what happens when you're in Blackboard and you see a note that says one of the articles that you need to read for your course is retrieved from Walden Library databases. We actually have a variety of course guides created in order to assist you with getting access to your course readings. And then we also have, for some assignments and some discussions, some additional library help embedded within these course guides. So I just kind of wanted to show the path here. So what happens is you're in Blackboard. Under the learning resources, you see the note under required readings that it says retrieved from the Walden Library databases. So in order to actually get access to the full text of these articles, you need to navigate outside of Blackboard and come to the library's homepage. And so once you're on the homepage, we have this big box here on the right side of the screen that says course guides. And once you click there, you will actually land on this screen, and you can either navigate to your specific course guide by clicking using the alphabetical listing over here. So I could click here for public health, or I can just type it in. So here I'm going to show you essentially what would happen if you were in public health 8050 and you wanted to find this course guide. And so once we click the search, we find the guide, and then this is what we see here. Each guide is going to have the course code and the title of the course at the top. You're going to see this kind of boilerplate language up here, and then on the left-hand navigation is where you're going to find the required readings. And then if there's any additional help listed, you're going to see that on the left-hand side of the screen in the navigation. And so for that citation that we talked about, here we see the required course readings. And then this is only a fraction of the screen but listed alphabetically by the author's last name, you will find each of the different required readings. So then you just click on these, they're linked, and it should open up to full text, or it may open up to a different page that says, click on this database, and then you can get full text. Okay, so now that we've talked about course guides and where you can find the required readings, maybe even a little bit of assistance for an assignment. I also wanted to talk to you about subject versus general databases. And one of the reasons that we talk about this is because we do sometimes have students, either when we're working in appointments with doctoral students, or when each of us librarians are working reference, that sometimes we find students trying to do dissertation research in a general database, or they're using a subject database in order to find kind of broad information. And so what I wanted to do here is just kind of differentiate between when is the best time to use these databases. And so a subject database, and in the health sciences, we might say PubMed or CINAHL, something like that. You're going to be able to find great articles associated with your discipline. Another thing that's great about the subject databases is that you can conduct a very refined search with advanced features. So for example, if you want to limit by methodology or population, for example, when you're doing your dissertation research, some of the subject databases are really going to be your best choice. But what if you aren't doing dissertation research? Or what if you just kind of want to get some more general type of information? That's when the general databases are going to be the best choice for you. Another time that they're great, other than quickly finding articles for weekly assignments and discussions, they're also great for identifying the interdisciplinary aspect of a topic. And so we talk about the difference, right? In a subject database, articles for your discipline, general databases are going to be more that interdisciplinary aspect. So if you're looking at poverty within a specific population, as an example, you may want to see how that's being covered by psychology and by nursing. And so that's one of the ways that you can get at the interdisciplinary aspect of a topic. Okay, so in addition to, we talked before about course guides, and then these are kind of subject guides essentially. So once you're on the library's homepage, you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen the subject resources with a drop-down menu. And since I am a health sciences librarian, I'm actually going to quickly show you what the health sciences subject guide looks like. Just taking a minute to load here. Can you see that, Kim?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, we could see it. Thanks.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so I just wanted to point out a few things here on the subject page for health sciences. Every page is going to have what we call a gold box search, and so this can be really useful. These are going to be subject databases, but it's going to be a collection of subject databases. And so again, this might be a great place. You can bookmark this if you're a health sciences student, and you can check out this gold box search. The other thing I wanted to point out is just that we do have a variety. We list out the databases that are going to be best for your field of study, and we also list out some specific journals. Linked on these pages too, you're going to see our Ask a Librarian and then a link for our doctoral research appointments. The other thing I just wanted to quickly show you is that there is some additional research help. And like I said, even though this is the health sciences guide, many of them have the same basic structure. Okay, I just want to make sure I covered everything from there. Now I want to talk quickly about some of the other resources you can find that are linked on the home page. If you're ever looking for a specific journal, maybe you have a journal that you really like, you're familiar with, or you know it has a ton of research that's going to be relevant for what you're looking at, you can actually search for journals by title excuse me, or you can browse by discipline, and you can do that by clicking here on the Journals tab. One of the other things we want to talk about is dissertations. If you're interested in seeing what dissertations have already been completed on your topic, that's a really good thing to search dissertations for. Also, it can help you identify maybe some existing data sets or seminal articles on a particular topic. And dissertations can actually act as a wealth of additional information for your research. And because they aren't considered peer-reviewed, they're often not co-located with some of those other scholarly resources that you're drawing on. And so we just wanted to point out, make sure that you had an idea of where you can find some of these more specific types of resources right from the library's homepage. So Kim, did I miss anything there? Is there anything else I should have covered?
I think you got it all covered. So I'm going to go grab control from you.
Excellent.
Sorry, hold on one second. Okay. And then let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see it.
Awesome. Okay, great. So now that we have gone through and you know where to go to find what you need, what do you do once you get there? Now you know where those subject specific resources are, but how do you find specifically what you need? How do you use the databases and resources? So we have guides and webinars and tutorials that go over specific skills to help you to conduct research in the library. And this is something everybody needs to look at. I mean, even as a librarian, I sometimes go over and review some of the webinars that we do so I can remember the best way to get something done, just so that I'm staying on top of my game. So it's something that everyone really needs to get into and kind of look at. We have access to all of our library guides, our recorded webinars, our tutorials and technical help linked on this slide here, but it's also available by clicking on the library skills box from the library homepage. So what I'm going to do is jump out to the library homepage. I was kind of jumping around and click on library skills. And so Lisa, from reference, what's a library skill that people often ask you about that I can demonstrate?
You know, when I'm working reference, I see a lot of students asking about peer review.
Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so let me go and show you what we could do. If you wanted to learn a little bit about peer review, you can go to our recorded webinars. And you'll see that we have library skills, but we also have libraries by webinars by topic. So if you're in health sciences or in education and you want to learn specifically about using those databases, about researching in that field, you can click on a topic. But if you're interested in something like peer review, all you'd have to do is click on the library skills link, and it's going to bring you to the Mysteries of the Library Revealed page. Yay! So here we'll have all of the mystery webinars, and you just need to scroll down to find peer review. We'll have a link to the webinar. We also have the slides here and a link to a guide for additional help on this topic. Now I want to go back to the library homepage for a moment. And we'll click on library skills again. I just want to open it in a new tab. And this time I want to go to the library skills guide. So what this is a list of guides that the library has put together, and they kind of walk you through a step-by-step of learning these different skills. So you can see we have many of them, from choosing your own topic, to how to choose a topic, database searching, finding full text, setting up journal alerts. Let's click into one. Let's click into the choosing your topic one. And on the left-hand side, you'll see we kind of have a table of contents to jump around the page. It talks about what's a good topic, why aren't you finding anything. You can click here to find about inspiration, and it talks about exploratory research. And then we have lots of links in here. So in this case, we put a link to a Thoreau, which is a search tool that the library has. So you can try searching in here. We have a link to a database called Education Research Starters. If you're not sure of what you want to pick as a topic, education, but your field is education, you can always use this. And then we also have examples of topics. And again, you know, we have lots of links, lots of examples. And it kind of goes through this step by step. So if you don't want to watch the full webinar, you just want to read through, I would recommend going to the library's guide page. Now, the next one that we have, the next library skills resource we have for you, again, I'm at the library homepage and library skills. I'm going to go to the tutorials. Now, this is great is if you're short on time and you kind of want something in between. So if you want something really quick, but you don't feel like watching the whole webinar, but you like something visual, the tutorials are perfect. They're short. I think this one is our longest one. It's about 9 minutes long, but some of them are less than 5. And it's an interactive tutorial. So you can go in here and you have to progress through it at your own pace to learn that skill. So this is just a couple of the resources that we have in the library that you can get from the library skills page. Now, another thing that you've noticed as I'm demonstrating this to you is I keep going back to the library homepage, which can kind of be confusing. So imagine this was an actual library and you're all the way down in the journal section, but you want to go do a database search, and that's on the 3rd floor, so you'd have to run all the way up there. This is kind of like the shortcuts through the library. This top navigation bar that goes across the top of every library page can get you from anywhere in the library without returning to the main page. So I'm going to show you how you can do this. All right, so let me actually start on this one. Here I am on the Start Your Research page, okay? You see the banners right up here. If I click on the university library link, it brings me to the main page. So I'm at the main page, I can do some searching here. Let's go into course guides. Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't a good example. Course guide isn't really part of the library. Let's go into dissertations. Okay, see, this is still up here. Now that I'm in dissertations, I want to go and look at some databases. I can just click on the Start Your Research, and here has a list of databases I can try out. I can go to the databases A to Z. I can try looking at Thoreau, Google Scholar. I can also search by type. I can look for articles, journals, dissertations, etc. I can even click here to search for my course guides. If I go to the Get Help, this is bringing us to that Get Help page where we have our library skills, our tutorials, our recorded webinars, and our upcoming webinars. So if you are interested, go into the upcoming webinars. This is a list of webinars that we have scheduled coming up in the library. And I always recommend that if you see a webinar that you're interested in, go ahead and register for it, because you will receive a recording of that webinar in a day or 2. As long as you're registered for it, you will get that recording, even if you know you're not available to attend because you have to work or you have a prior commitment. The next on this top banner, we have services, which is services for faculty and for students, such as Ask a Librarian, the document delivery service, which is a service where we will look and possibly be able to get you full texts of articles that are not available in the library. The About button just talks a little bit about the library, the staff, and our policies. But at the end, we also have this Ask a Librarian link. And this is where you're going to go to get answers to your questions. We have a lot of different ways to do that. And I think one of the fastest ways to get an answer to your question is through quick answers. These are like the library's frequently asked questions. If you have a question, somebody else has also had that question, and we probably have a quick answer for it. So I'm going to show you an example. Here are our quick answers. And let's say you're interested in peer review. You just hit peer review, and you're going to get all these quick answers. What is peer review? How do I find an article that's not peer reviewed? How do I find one that is? How do I verify that an article is peer reviewed? So I can pick whichever one I want. Let's say I'm trying to find an article that is peer reviewed. And all the quick answers look the same. They have the question on the top, And then they talk about how to do this. We have lots of links to other resources in the library. We have lots of screenshots and then links for further information. I'll go back to Ask a Librarian there. You can also get answers to your questions by emailing us. We usually respond to all emails within 24 hours, unless, of course, there is a holiday and the library is closed. But usually it's a lot faster than that. We do answer reference questions 7 days a week, not 24 hours a day, but 7 days a week. So you can just fill it in here, submit your question, and any of our reference librarians who happen to be working on reference at that time will answer that question for you. We also have a chat feature, and when you click on chat, today's date will be highlighted with the times in Eastern time that chat is open. And chat is live right now, so you can see how it's lit up right here. If I click on this, I can type in a question and I could talk live with a librarian who is on duty right now. And when you submit this in, alarm goes off and it's really, really loud. So we all like try to answer it very quickly. You know, it's like a contest who can answer the chat the fastest. But that's one way to get to talk to us. Sometimes it's not the best way if you have a very in-depth question because it's kind of geared to be short, quick responses, but it's some way for you to get in touch with us to get answers to your questions. You can also call us. This is the phone number, and you will call. You will have to leave a message. We ask that you leave a message with your name, your student ID, and your question. We do not return calls. Logistically, it is just not possible because we have librarians in every time zone in the United States, and we have students global in time zones all over the world. So it doesn't make sense to leave a message. We will never be able, it's hard to reach out to you again. So what happens is when you leave a voicemail, it goes into the email queue. And it doesn't go to the top of the queue either. It just goes in with all these other emails. So leaving a voicemail isn't going to make us answer your question faster. We're going to answer it as it comes up with all the other emails. And finally, if you need a little more in-depth appointment, you can set up a doctoral research appointment by Skype or phone with any of the liaisons in your college. So all you have to do is pick your college program. I have to click a college program to continue, and then select a time to set up an appointment with that librarian. Okay, so that is the end of our session on the quick tour of the library. So I hope everybody was able to learn a few new things. Does anybody have any questions they would like us to answer for you? Well, I'm not seeing any questions coming in right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, and then Lisa and I will just hang out for a little while in case anybody has some questions. So thanks for coming. Oh, and before I leave, I just want to remind you once again about upcoming mystery sessions. They're once every month, and so the next one is going to be in June, the third Monday in June, on course guides, and you'll be able to access that from the library website, either from upcoming webinars, or if you go to Get Help, Upcoming Webinars. I don't know if it's in here. Oh, you can click View All Upcoming Webinars, and it might be in there. It'll go past. There it is, the next one for course readings, and you can register for it. So hopefully we'll see you guys at that one. Thank you guys for coming. Good night.